Adventures of Sonic Episode 35, The Last Resort. This would be a great name for the series' epic finale, but there's over 30 more episodes left. Is Robotnik gonna have the biggest, most epic plan ever as the last resort and waste it on a non-finale episode? Nah, I'm sure it'll all be underwhelming instead, considering this show. But I'm still excited to watch it. There's some stomping, and a major robot attack panics some civilians, with someone saying that as long as he's mayor, there's no problem, as the robots have to fill out forms first, which immediately get destroyed. This was forced comedy. Why would you ever expect them to fill out forms? Stupidly, the minute someone wishes that Sonic was here, Sonic shows up. Sonic is a wuss by being scared by the giant robots right away. I mean, he is used to scratch and grounder. But out of complete nowhere, one of the robots retreats and runs away. God forbid there's a genuine threat. God forbid there's ever any sort of epicness whatsoever in action series. Robotnik makes an announcement for his retirement over the screen wearing a sweater. Bullshit, why would he do this if he had the perfect opportunity? He was in the middle of sending giant robots at a village. He should have kept up with it. He should have made way more of these. Replace Scratch and Grounder with them. That means that this whole beginning could have been cut out. It should have been put in a different episode if this was what the episode was going to be about. That's so clueless. He says he's dedicating his life to taking care of his evil old mother and pretends that he's good now. Sonic doesn't believe this. Unfortunately, we don't see the civilians buying into it either. Sonic says that if it's a trap, they'll just escape. The mother says that the doorbell will give her a headache and orders Robotnik to get her tea in a hot water bowl. Robotnik sarcastically welcomes Sonic and Tails. He offers them tea. I love that it's addressed that logically he would have poisoned them, and Sonic says no. But Tails is eating it just fine. Mama Robotnik insults Robotnik for spilling tea, and he takes off his sweater to dry it off. I mean, honestly, he's not really acting that out of character, because Mama Robotnik pushes him around all the time. Tails is pulled out of the house, where he was enjoying the snacks. Sonic says that retirement's for slowpokes as he plays checkers. You'd think that a thrill seeker like him would just run around various towns all over the planet, desperately searching for some kind of criminal to defeat, rather than just sitting around playing boring games since there's no Eggman to fight. And then the mayor of the village from earlier shows up, giving them the key to the city for saving their town. But they didn't do anything. What does that key even do? What does it unlock? The mayor reads them an offer as a token of their gratitude. The offer is to go to a last resort summer vacation place. Sonic is smart enough to say that Robotnik could still be trouble. I guess he's desperate. But Tails is a bad influence, talking him into the vacation when he's supposed to be smarter than him. At least he has a good point that Sonic's going nutso with nothing to do. So maybe this will help him. The mayor gives Sonic an autopiloted boat, which will send them to an island resort where they will be given a 2-day adventure. This has got to be a trap. There's no way it wouldn't be. There's tons of episodes after this. Actually, it would be more interesting if Robotnik really was retiring and something made him go back into villainy. But that won't happen because that would be interesting and brilliant writing. The mayor predictably turns out to be evil. He did have a mustache after all. He calls Robotnik and reveals himself as a secret agent for him. Robotnik fires him then because he did his job already, instead of keeping him around to keep doing stuff. When it would be kind of hard to find another secret agent to replace him. The show doesn't need to give the game away that fast. We could have cut this padding scene out and lost nothing. Also, apparently he's a robot. That explains why he was willing to work for Robotnik, as he was a robot who somehow got elected mayor despite the townspeople not knowing where he was born or where he really grew up. I guess he lied about all of that, and faked his social security numbers somehow. Seriously, that would be a big problem with a robot living in society. How did Breezy get her social security number? How did she get a job with no college education? Sonic spin dashes along the surface while water skiing with the boat. He calls Tails little bro. It's always good when he does that. And a chopper moves along the water that's actually a submarine with a tidal machine that Scratch activates. Tails is useful by warning Sonic of the tidal wave. Never mind, Sonic isn't able to hear him at all. Fuck letting Tails be useful. It is realistic though. Predictably though, Sonic is just fine surfing around. Grounder activates a saw blade in the submarine that cuts and sinks the boat, but for no reason the heroes don't immediately sink into the ocean. Fuck consequences, I guess. I guess it's extremely salty, like the Dead Sea. I mean, Sonic's supposed to sink like a rock. That's in his character. Sonic looks scared and just stands there saying they're doomed instead of immediately leaving, just to force a tense ad break. Why does the show bother having those? I mean, it's not being honest at all. And then he uses the water skiing rope to water ski with something on the ocean, using it as a check of his gun. The Last Resort is such a stupid name for a resort. Why would it be the last one ever? That's such a lame excuse for a pun title that shouldn't have been a pun. It should have been the real descriptor. The tour guide admires himself in the mirror, and some girls show up to Sonic. Sonic is suspicious of the Chompers, and Sonic's told that the Badniks are just gifts, and he'll go kayaking. Then he's put in a trap. Why would these Mobians side with Robotnik and enjoy it? Is he an infiltrator too? Sonic finds it thrilling as Grounder activates the riverbed of nails. The heroes go over a waterfall, and Tails avoids falling off by sticking his rower on a rock. Never mind, he falls into the water anyways, because nothing he can do can ever be competent. I mean, he does do competent things, but barely ever, so it's the exception that proves the rule. Sonic spins the rower really fast to save himself and puts a bunch of rocks to temporarily keep the water from flowing. He saves Tails and the water hits the robots. The guy with the annoying voice and speech shows up again and tells the heroes way too enthusiastically to climb the mountain. Who talks like this? This isn't fun. I mean, I'm sure the actor had a really fun time voicing him, but that doesn't mean it makes sense to hear. Sonic and Tails are let into the volcano by a trapdoor, and the ground they're on starts sinking. Sonic jumps away from the sinking floors, and he likes how dangerous the place is. I mean, it's not like he has a death wish. That wouldn't make any sense for his cheerful personality. He uses a rope to get to a ledge, and Grounder says the ledge is full of dynamite. The heroes end up being just fine and run away from a fireball causing an explosion. The robots get crushed by falling rocks that should put them out of commission for the entire episode. Then there's a filler scene because Robotnik yells at Scratch for still not beating Sonic. Robotnik for some reason thinks the robots are too incompetent to be fired, and instead makes them iron the girdle of his mother, causing them to run away instead. Sonic and Tails are told to jump out of a plane 12,000 feet in the air, and the pilot is Robotnik. Shouldn't the heroes immediately recognize the voice as Robotnik's? Oh good, Sonic recognizes it, but Tails just thinks it's familiar and needs Sonic to tell him the obvious. They jump out of the plane, and Robotnik puts the plane on autopilot and follows the heroes to watch their landings. Sonic isn't surprised that his parachute's been sabotaged. Robotnik's got a parachute that works just fine. Tails takes Sonic's rope and attaches it to the plane, keeping him from falling to the volcano, and he cuts the ropes of Robotnik's parachute. I'm sure this won't kill him when it really should. How would Sonic know that he would survive this? How many times does it look like Sonic tried to murder Robotnik by now? It turns out the incentive to the blonde for working for Robotnik was being paid. But that doesn't explain why he enjoyed working for him. And sure, it's a cartoon character, but him having a silly voice, these characters having stupid voices, really doesn't make the show age well. It's like in SpongeBob, where when you're an adult, you start to hate the characters' voices because no one in real life talks like that. I think shows should age well. Sonic uses the rope to get back to Tails and takes control of the plane, ending the episode. I mean, it would be funny if the plane ran out of fuel when it was above the ocean and they fell in. But I guess that wouldn't happen because that would have actual consequences happen to the main characters. But the show has such negative continuity anyways that would it really matter if they plunge into the ocean? They're gonna be fine the next episode, you know it. In Sonic Says, there's a message where Tails goes exploring and then returns to Sonic. Didn't we already have a message about telling your parents where you're going and when you'll be back? Viewers are goldfish according to this. This episode was about Robotnik pretending to turn good to make the heroes agree to go to a sudden resort where they get put through all sorts of traps. It was interesting seeing Mama Robotnik again, not that she did much anyways. So it's kind of like a cheap cameo more than anything. And like, why did they have to have that epic beginning be wasted on this episode? Why would he send giant robots towards a village and then tell them to come back? We could have seen Mama Robotnik tell him to carry out that plan, and that would be why he would cancel the thing, but it would still be really stupid of him to do.